Hey guys, Firework Stud here, back with another video tonight. It feels weird calling myself Firework Stud as a grown man, but it's the name I gave this channel when I was 10, 11 years old, starting it up, so we're just sticking with it. But tonight we got a channel, it's kind of a mixture of a few things. Like I said in my last video, I've started a small vintage collection that I'm excited about. I've also got my hands on some modern crackers that are fun. And then just some stuff that's neither vintage or rare modern stuff just for this next 4th of July coming up. So we're going through this full bin in this video. Might be a little bit of a longer video. Feel free to just skip to parts you want to see or whatever you want to do. But I'm going to move this real quick and then we'll get started. I'm going to try to go through the vintage stuff first. It probably won't work out that way in the end, but first thing I wanted to show is I have picked up 5 bags of these firecrackers. I don't know if they all have the same exact stuff in them. It looks like there's a few repeats, but most of the crackers in these bags are DOT crackers. And I purchased these kind of as shooter packs. I might keep a few that I think are really cool. But yeah, 20 bags or 20 little packs in each bag. And I'll make a separate video going through these bags. I think that would be cool just to have for my record to look back at and to watch. So there's the first one. Let me grab the other 4. I saw a roller coaster pack in one of these, so that's pretty cool. Excited just to have some shooters. I really have barely shot off any DOT stuff. Actually, New Year's, just this past week or so, was the first time I've ever shot off a DOT firecracker. At least that I'm aware of. There's a chance I owned some when I was really young and didn't really even know it, but one more bag of those. As you can see, there are a good amount of repeats in these bags, but we'll go through them in another video. And I'll be making a video soon. I'll probably just demo every single pack in one of these bags. I think that'll be pretty fun. I found a good spot to start filming some demos, so there's gonna be more of those coming out. It is legal to light stuff year-round where I'm at, but I know that there's dogs in my neighborhood that get upset, neighbors that get upset, and in my mind that's just not worth it. But I did find a spot that's a little out of the way where less people will be bothered, so it'll be fun to start filming more demos. I also just have a few random packs here in this bag. Flying Dragon, you can see the barber poles in that one. 2 of these Beauty DOT packs, and then just a random musky pack. Sticking with the vintage, I have a Flying Dragon 4016 DOT Class C. Nice wrap. This has definitely been rewrapped. The cellophane is like a little torn there that you can see. But light brick, it's one of the few DOT bricks that I have. So I'm pretty excited about that find. And honestly, like, I've just always loved that Flying Dragon logo. I've been watching videos on vintage stuff pretty much since I started this channel 10, 15 years ago. I've always found it interesting, really cool, but growing up, you only have the money to light off so much stuff. So instead of splitting that money between stuff I wanted to collect and stuff I wanted to light, of course, I went with just buying stuff that I could light off and enjoy. But, times change, and now it's got a little bit of money to spend on both, so that's fun. Next, this isn't vintage per se. It's meant to look vintage, but is a reproduction of a Duck brand penny pack brick. In this brick, there are 100 packs. There's 6 little crackers in each. From videos and people I've talked to, that they're pretty fun. They're pretty good little crackers. So I'll do a video on those as well. That'll be fun. Let's try to stick with the vintage stuff. I don't know how vintage these are, but I still think they're pretty cool. You've got Black Cat Super Bottle Rockets. They are DOT Class C, but you also see the UNO 336. But 1997 on there. These are older than I am, not to date myself, but these are half grosses of bottle rockets. They look bigger than your modern day bottle rockets, much longer for sure. So I got a pack to open and play with and a pack to put away for now, unless I find some more in the future. So that's a pretty cool little pickup. Like I said, not super vintage, but still some fun things to have. These got thrown in with a purchase I made. You have these single parachutes from Horse brand with crackers. You might have seen videos on these from people like Light of the World Fireworks or Big Boy Fireworks, I think did a video on these recently. And they're pretty good. They perform really well. Just like a lot of the old stuff does, it performs better than the modern day stuff. The parachutes actually work, and the firecrackers that are in these seem to be pretty loud. So I'll try one out, put one away. That'll be fun to have. These, from my understanding, are somewhat vintage too. Nothing super crazy. 20 plus years old though is what I was told on these brown wrap Thunder Kings. Got 2 of those. I've actually never had single shots before, at least that I can remember, that are just pretty much reports. So those will be fun to have. I probably shoot these off. They're not that old or vintage or collectible by any means. Sticking with the vintage, I have this Peony 8016 brick, as you can see, DOT Class C. These are pretty common from what I can tell. As I've started to buy some vintage, it seems like a lot of people have these, but it's cool. I mean, the brick's in excellent shape. I don't think this one's been rewrapped. I think this is just straight out of a case. You've got a little tether, but those are fun. They're pretty much the same cracker, I would imagine, as the beauty crackers that I showed earlier, just out of that pack. And yeah, awesome 8016 brick there, DOT. Another thing that's vintage but not vintage, I have this Warrior brand 8016. It is a UNO brick. Unfortunately, I did not get it in very good shape. I thought it was in better shape when I was buying it. So this will get opened. I've always liked the Warrior brand logo, and I thought it would be cool to have a full brick of these. You can't tell in the light, but they do have a design on them. I don't know the design specifically. We'll see that in the brick opening, but having held many bricks of firecrackers, these feel lighter than your average brick today, which usually, from what I've heard, means that they're a good performing cracker. So I don't know how old they are in terms of UNO, but I'm excited to have those as well. Just a cool looking brick, and hopefully some nice shooters just to have on hand. Next, let's see, sticking with the vintage. Nothing crazy. I've got a box of these Plain Flying at Nights. I think that is Silk Road brand. Yep, DOT Class C. Probably won't open these unless I find another box, but I've always loved little novelties like that, so having a vintage box of those is cool. Another brick I picked up recently. I'm just going to show you the label. I've got a brick of these No brand Thunder Bombs 4050s, also UNO, so not really that collectible or anything, but wanted to show you guys these. The weird thing about this brick, some of the packs look like this, where all the crackers have one of those old looking designs on it, and shoot quick and are very loud, like old stuff. And then some of the packs in here have half that are all reds, and then some of these, or they're just scattered, or they're all reds themselves, and they sound very different. So I'm thinking it was just a brick that someone rewrapped of crackers they're trying to get red of. Here, I can try to show you. That's where all of those are. But I don't really know what's going on with those. I got them for a cheaper price than you would pay for a modern brick of firecrackers, so thought I would just get those. The Thunderbomb logo was cool, but again, nothing like super collectible on those. Next we have, let me grab this, Thunderbomb Horse brand 2100s, DOT Class C. These are actually a reproduction brick though. I do not know how old they are, but from what I've heard, they are rippers, meaning they just burn super quick and are very loud. They do have designs on them, so excited about that brick. This one's falling apart too, so obviously it's getting opened and we'll light these. I'll make a video on those. Okay, so we're gonna have to mix out some modern stuff just to get the rest of the vintage I have in here. Two other little things. I got a box of these, I think they're called grasshoppers. I've actually never seen a video of these. You light them, they're supposed to kind of hop around and have reports and stuff. So obviously not made for the US market. Cool little piece. Next, I've got 2 boxes of these 3 banger match crackers. I've never had match crackers until just recently, so saw these and had to just pick up a couple boxes of those. Some people collect those. I don't know how collectible those ones are per se, but some more match crackers here. Corsair brand, there's 60 pieces. Obviously by the size of these boxes, they have to be pretty small, but it'd be cool to make a video on these, just see how they perform. And I got a good price considering there's 60 in each one of these boxes. Okay, one more modern brick. I actually picked this up today. Got a Tank brand 8016. And again, when I was buying it and setting up the purchase, it looked to be in much better shape than it is. You've got a rip there. You can see that the packs are colored. But as a kid growing up, I loved stuff like G.I. Joe or the little green plastic army men. I was big into the military stuff. So I don't know much about these firecrackers. I know there's a 2-inch version that are really nice, but I don't even know who makes these crackers. But they're cool looking brick. Again, I expect them to be older UNO wise, and I expect them to perform pretty well. So we'll make a video opening pretty much all these bricks that I'm gonna open, like the Warrior brand, the penny pack, and this one here, and just seeing what's going on and then doing some demos. But fun little brick I found. Okay, moving in, still some vintage back there, but moving to the modern stuff. I've got 10 boxes of these flying bugs. These are basically a modern stickless rocket. I've never had stickless rockets, but I've always loved the Zips fireworks. So to have something that resembles Zips, but actually has a report and shoots out some stars is going to be really cool. So I'll definitely make a video on these. I got a bunch of them, so. Next, I got a box of the M1000 crackers. There's 36 in here. They look like your average tube cracker. These are pretty popular. If you're watching this video, you've probably seen these before. But I don't believe there's actually a little cracker in there like there is for most tube crackers. I believe there's actually just like powder and composite, whatever you call it. So excited to try those out. They should be pretty loud. Following that same line of stuff, we've got a lit dynamite, 10 in there. Those are a little bit smaller than some of these other crackers, but I got a box of those just because I'd seen them a bunch, but never tried them out. Next, we've got a box of the Joe Blows. Lit a few of these off on New Year's, and these are pretty loud. I like those, so I'll be looking for more of those. Got a box of the Magas, 10 in there. These are a little bit bigger, longer tubes. I think these have titanium in them. I could be wrong, but I'm really excited to try those out. Those look like good crackers. Next, we've got a brick of the Wise Guy crackers. These are 2-inch crackers. There's 20 packs of 10. Again, if you're watching this video, you've probably seen these before or have seen people have them before. I'll make a video on them. I'm really excited to have these. I've heard that they're great performers. So next, getting a little bit bigger, we've got the coconut bombs. There's 12 in there. They look like your canister shells, and they actually come with a tube, but from what I've heard, you do not want to try to put them in the tube. These are more just like a nice ground salute, and let me tell you, they're pretty dang heavy. So I don't know if I'll be able to light any of these off until the 4th of July, even at the spot that I have found that I can go light stuff off, but I'm excited to have something big like that. Will be fun. More modern crackers. Just got a slab of these bunny ears, 10 pieces. Again, I'll be lighting these off and we'll see how they do. Okay, back to some vintage pieces. I've got 3 or 4 packs of these. Let's see if I can show you those. They're the Horse brand Air Travelers. These are DOT. little bottle rockets. I lit off a few packs on New Year's, and honestly, for how old they are, they perform great. The reports were definitely louder than what you get in modern day bottle rockets. So those are fun to have. Looking for full grosses of those, for sure. Next, we've got some older UN Moon Travelers. Are these the ones with the paper fuses? No, these just look like an older one. These look like the grosses, kind of look like the grosses I grew up on, so I had to pick up this one when I saw it. Bottle rockets have always been my favorite firework, even like before firecrackers, so to find a few old packs that kind of look like what I had as a kid were fun. Got another one of those. These ones are the paper fused ones, so still UNO, but definitely older. And that is from the Red Lantern brand. We'll be trying these out, see how they do. One more gross of rockets. We have the Horse brand Air Travelers. These are the UNO version. And I actually think I have another gross of these put back somewhere that I need to pull out. But another gross of old rockets. With the state of this gross, again, these are probably going to get lit just because I love bottle rockets, but fun to have some older stuff. Okay. Other thing I found recently, I was excited about this. You have the Dragon Artillery Shell sorted. I'm sure you've seen these. They do not do any of that. These are just 12 ball shell salutes. And from what I've seen, they're pretty good. So when I saw this, I've never had ball shell salutes. Geez, that's hard to say. I've kind of had every other kind of salute, so wanted to get a kit of these. And again, it was a really cheap price. So got that for next 4th of July. Those will be fun to try. Next, pretty simple, pretty small. We've got 3 packs of these Super Balls, a bunch of powder in there. You've probably seen these as well. Nice little crackers when they work. These were cheap, I just had to get a few packs of them. A little bit bigger, but I got a bag of these snake bites. I know for a fact these have a bunch of titanium in them and they're pretty loud. So again, something I might not be able to light off. I might try one just for fun, but yeah, happy to find those because I've been looking for something like this for a long time. Another vintage piece, at least I think they're pretty vintage. I've got a bag of like 20 of these little Fuego crackers. If you haven't seen these, they're match crackers that start as a little jumping jack or ground bloom spinner thing, but then they have a nice report after they're done spinning. It's similar, maybe slightly louder than your average like water cracker. I'd say they're probably a little bit louder, so these things are awesome. I think there's 8 pieces in each of these boxes. And again, I got a bag of about 20 of those, so I really like those. Those are a lot of fun. We're almost done here, just a couple more items, honestly. I've got some of these rabbit scares. Again, first time I've ever really had crackers like these. Tried them on New Year's. These are nice. They're nothing loud, super loud, super crazy. But when you're just trying to scratch the itch and blow something up that is slightly loud, these are awesome. So got one open, got one that's not. So nice little find there. And we're actually already to our last thing. I say already, but we're 19 minutes in. Just found this little bag of miscellaneous stuff. You have like some of the double voice single shots in there. You've got a little Uzi, the Crazy King. You've got some triangle crackers, which is cool because I've never had triangle crackers before. But just by the amount of powder that's in this bag, it's going to be a lot of fun. Probably make a video going through it and then demoing everything. This was just kind of thrown in with one of my purchases. I'm thankful for that whenever that happens, and especially when it's a bunch of cool crackers like this. So I'm excited to go through that. But yeah, that is everything that I have in this bin. Vintage stuff is light/shoot. All the modern stuff I'll be shooting off. Thankful to the people that have helped me find some of this vintage stuff. And yeah, go ahead and comment if you know anything more about some of this stuff than I do. I'm going to set up an email that'll also be in the description If you have vintage stuff that you're looking to sell or trade or anything like that, just contact that email. I'm also going to link a couple channels down in the description just as sort of like a shout out. I was watching these channels these last year and they have awesome vintage collections, and they were kind of the reason why I just finally made the move to start getting some vintage stuff. So check out those channels, like, comment, and subscribe, and you guys have a great rest of your night or day, and thank you for watching.